Welcome to Kilroy's Outlaws and Legends Behind the Music with your host, multi-award-winning music producer, Eddie Kilroy. And now, here's your host, Eddie Kilroy.
Hey, how in the world are you? Welcome to another edition of Kilroy's Outlaws, Legends, and Behind the Music and Beyond the Music. And right now, wow, do I have a special person? Yes, I do. I've got a lady that to me epitomizes ladyhood, epitomizes country music, and is loaded with talent. Her name is Leona Williams, and I know you've heard of her. Good morning, Leona.
Good morning. I'm so proud to talk to you this morning.
I'm always so proud to talk to you because we've known each other a long time, and we've been friends a long time, and I never think of Leona without seeing that big smile. And I know it. And singing like, well, no, not singing like a bird, singing like a flock of birds. You know, like one bird. One bird ain't going to cut it, girl. You're that Missouri lady, aren't you?
That's right. I'm from a little town called Vienna, Missouri.
Wow. And at one time, until we lost him, you were married to one of my dearest friends, Dave Kirby.
Yes, that's right. Dave Kirby. What a talent. What a great songwriter, guitar player, everything.
Everything.
A wonderful husband.
I know Dave
Wonderful.
was. I know Dave adored you. And he was a big part, Leona, in the records that I made. And I always gave credit. You know, I was blessed to have a lot of number one records on Gilly and Jerry Lee Lewis, da-da-da-da-da. But the credit went to the players. All I did was find the songs and listen to what their input, And Kirby always had some bright ideas, and more than that, he brightened the session. And you've been in so many recording sessions, you know that the vibe of the players means so much of how the music's going, and what's going on tape. You get a bunch of old sourpusses in there, it's going to show, and we had fun when we made records, and it showed on the records. Leona,
yes.
With us being friends for so many years, this can't be the typical interview that you normally would do with someone that had not known you for a long time. So I'm going to ask you when you got your first guitar, how you learned to play guitar, Well, I get so tired of hearing that because maybe it's that I know you well and count you as one of my closest friends ever.
Yeah.
So you're doing well. You had a good Christmas, I know, because you had the family there. And then, of course, you've got the wonderful daughter, the wonderful son-in-law, Pat Cohen. And then you've got the incredible son, Ron Williams, who I had. And I consider it a personal opportunity to record we still call them albums, a CD on your son, Ron Williams, who sings like crazy. God, he sings good. But he sings,
oh my God.
Leona, the only problem he has is he sings real music. And
he does. He's real country.
I know, and it causes a problem in today's world where we can't. Leona, can you believe that songs become hits and you can't hum the melody?
No. And I don't understand how it's and why it changed like it has. It's so different, but I'm still going to give it all I got to doing what I do, country, and so does Ron. That's how he feels. And we still work a few shows together. Ron's still a wonderful singer.
Oh gosh, yes.
And I have another son. His name is Brady. And he was never into music. He loved it, and he loved to listen to it. But he's into cars and stuff. He manages Tri-Lakes Ford, a big dealership in Branson, Missouri.
I remember speaking of that and getting back to Dave Kirby. I remember he was the first person I knew that had his windows darkened. And I had to go out. I had to go out in the outside and look at them. I'd never seen it before. I said, "How do you see out of those, Dave?" He said, "Well, you have to get used to them. Cars kind of sneak up on you and what have you." And you know what I did the next day? Went out and had my windows darkened. So he was.
Really?
he was quite an influence on me, and a great guy too. Leona, you've made so many marks in country music, both as a recording artist, a great singer, and also, and I think maybe some people aren't aware of the incredible songs that you have written, and a great writer, great singer, you know. How many songs? Okay, let me back up a little bit. You were married to Merle Haggard, and
Yes.
that was prior to Dave, of course. How long were you married to Haggard?
I was with Merle for uh, I was with him 9 years, but we were only married right at 6.
Right, right.
You know.
Well, I
But
know
before Merle, I had a great career, and I had my songs recorded. Like Connie Smith had a top 10 record of a song called Dallas,
that's
and
right.
that was 74. I mean, it goes back that
I
far,
know.
and so the first song I had recorded was back when I worked with Loretta Lynn. We got to meet her one time. Me and my kids' dad, Ron Sr., we had a band, and we lived in Missouri. Of course, I'm from that little town of Vienna, but we moved to St. Louis, and I was real young and everything, and we had a band and stuff, and we got to meet Teddy and Doyle. They were in a town down there close to St. Louis, and they had Loretta with them. And boy, she did jig danced, and she just sang, and it was great.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we got to meet them, and they wanted us to go out to eat with them. So we did and got acquainted and everything. And later we went and did the Midnight Jamboree and stuff with the Wilburn brothers and everything. And so later Loretta, she said, if I ever make it, I'm going to help you kids. That's what she said when she heard our first band, So we
Wow.
booked some fair dates, and that was my deal with Loretta. And she recorded the first song I ever had anything to do with,
You know, that first song that you have recorded is always the thrill. And,
Yes.
with Loretta, and I know you share the feeling, I really love Loretta. She was
Yeah.
Loretta, and there was no frills, there was no, whatever it is, I'm Loretta. And I always enjoyed the visits with her.
And my song is on that her album, "Don't Come Home and Drink," and
Oh, I didn't know it was on that
and-
album. Oh,
it's on that album. But my song's called "Get What You Got and Go."
Get What You Got and Go. Good title, good hook,
Yeah.
good hook. And you
We
wrote
wrote that.
you wrote some songs that Merle recorded, right?
Yes, I did. I wrote several. Some I got my name on, some I didn't.
I
But
know.
anyways, the ones I'm on is "You Take Me for Granted." That was number one, and
What a great
also
song.
"Someday When Things Are Good." I wrote that.
That's great.
And,
I love that song.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, you're a great
And
writer.
And I wrote that song that's got my son Brady's name in it. It's called "Mama, I've Got to Go to Memphis." And I recorded it, and then later Merle recorded it. And, just several songs. I can't even think of all of them, but
Well,
I've been lucky.
I'm the same way on some of the songs I produced. Yeah,
Yes.
if you go online or something and you're kind of fiddling around, which I do once a year or two. I don't know. I'm not an online guy. When I do this podcast, I'm blessed not to have to go on Wikipedia to look up anything about Leona because I know you, and so I don't go online to find out about you. But I look sometimes and I see Kilroy and a discography, yeah, that's where you say it, and I'll say, wow,
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that song. And like you, we do so many songs, and as the years go by, we kind of forget some of them. Then you say, "Oh wow, I did that song, I forgot." So I know you've done so many. You understand that feeling. It's
I sure do. Yes.
I remember we were when I was at MCA Universal, and you were signed to MCA Universal, and I found what I thought was this really, really cool song written by Rory Burke and Charlie Black, called "Let's Make a Baby Tonight." And
Yeah.
I knew that would get you. And I said,
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
I said, Leona, I said, let's cut this song. I love it. And you said, well, I don't know. But you were kind enough to indulge me in
Oh, gosh.
"Let's Make a Baby Tonight." I thought that was the coolest song.
And
And
then I was with Merle then, and he did a little humming, little song, a little
yeah, he came in the studio and
line or two.
hummed on it. That was kind of cool. Yeah, and have Merle there with you. And he was probably thinking the same thing that, hey, this is a pretty good idea, Leona. Let's record this song called "Let's Make a Baby Tonight." He was probably all
Oh,
for it,
God.
But anyway, Leona, I'm gonna talk to you about something right now that
Okay.
I want you to be comfortable about it. And if you tell me, Kilroy, I'm not comfortable about it, end of conversation. Okay. The
Okay.
the marriage to Merle. And I know there were ups and downs, and there were problems, and I'm sure, though I wasn't there, I'm sure you endured more problems for a longer period of time than most ladies would. Um, what was not on stage, because I know that Merle was always respectful. I think he was always respectful when y'all were on stage together. But
Oh yeah.
off stage, it was a different picture show, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was wonderful, and then all at once it'd change on you.
Yeah,
You know. But I'm an old country girl. I tried to make peace in the family, and
sure,
stuff. But there were so many people around him, and so many guys bringing things that I didn't like, or he didn't like, or he liked. Put it that way.
sure,
And you know, and I was just like, oh my God, trying to protect our family,
sure, sure.
and. Anyways, it was just so many people pulling at him all the time.
There was, I'm
And
sure. And
and
the things that you were trying to protect him from, of course, because everybody knows, and you know that I've
yeah,
produced a lot of artists that had that same problem that Merle had,
yes,
that you were trying to protect him from drugs, alcohol,
yes,
which
yeah,
so many are subjective to. Uh, that was a chore within itself, I know, because the first time you
yes,
tell somebody that's into drugs or alcohol, you can't do that. Well, obviously, boy, they just bristle up and say, "Yeah, I can because I'm Merle Haggard." I had that problem with Jerry Lee Lewis. When I worked with Jerry so many years, I can do that because I'm Jerry Lee Lewis. So I'm sure that Merle had that same attitude. Am I right?
yeah. That's what it seemed to me. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like it's just like part of his life, And he'd get real mad at me because I wouldn't do stuff like that. I said, Merle, I'm somebody's mother. I'm not doing that.
I
So
believe
I
that.
could have stood up for my right.
Absolutely. And
But
can I speak to you? Are you? I'm a little okay. Shooting straight with you as a dear friend of yours, I'm a little uncomfortable in asking you some particular questions. Your
okay.
separation from Merle was not a pleasant one, as we've shared before off the air. You feel comfortable in speaking of that?
I will talk about anything.
I
It
believe
doesn't
you.
matter.
I believe you'll talk about anything. But when
Yeah.
you decided, that's it, Merle, no more, and in your mind you're saying, I'm out of here. From that
Yeah.
day when you said, I'm out of here, there were unpleasantries, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I hated to do that because I knew he was so loved by so many fans, but I had to stand up for my children. I had, you know,
Sure.
young kids stuff, and I had to be stronger than ever to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to hold up, and stuff. But I had to get away from all that. Too much
Yeah,
drugs and stuff. I had to get out of there.
of course you
So
did.
it was a long way from California back to back to Missouri or Tennessee. Where I
Yeah.
was.
How did not he hire some detectives to try to find you or something? Or is that
Yeah,
just a rumor I heard?
yeah. He had somebody looking for me, and I know I played a show in the Austin area down in Texas,
Yeah,
and anyways, it was like he had security or somebody there. They were watching me close, but I had a couple of my brothers with me to help me.
sure.
To do this show, and I was afraid to go to work. I had threats and letters and things from he'd get, well, a lot of stuff you can't tell, but
Yeah.
he'd get people to do stuff that it was like, oh my God, I had to be so careful. I was afraid to go on the road.
Wow.
And then later on, after I started working some with George Jones,
Yeah.
going out there with George and Nancy
Sure.
and felt protected, and they were, going to make sure I was all right and stuff. But there was a lot of stuff going on, Eddie. I don't know where to start at.
I know.
To tell you, but it was really hard because of drugs, and I hate it. I hate drugs.
I know you do. I know that you were in a situation that you did not ever expect to get to that. I'm sure, knowing you like I know you.
Yes, and Merle was such a wonderful person, and his sweet little mother and his brother, all them were just precious. And I know one time there was a problem. Anyways, I had to go to the hospital, and I don't know why, but I was beat up real bad because Merle come home from somewhere. I'm just going to tell this story.
Go ahead.
But he came home from somewhere, and I was on my phone in the little office next to our bedroom at the house there in California. And I heard his footsteps coming down the hall. And I was just on the phone asking his office if he was okay. Have you heard from him? He'd been gone for several days. But he come in there really wired, and I'll tell you what, he hit me and beat me up so bad I had to go to the hospital.
Oh, no.
God. Yes. And oh gosh, I'm almost going to tell you this.
Tell me.
He had this little plane out there at the airport, so I had to fly. Instead of me going to the hospital in Reading, I went to the hospital in Bakersfield.
Wow.
And I was beat up, and he had them to put a note on the door that says no visitors except Phyllis Owen, which is Fuzzy's wife.
Right.
And oh my gosh. So anyways, I was so ashamed and embarrassed and everything else,
Of course.
And but anyways, I won't go into all that detail of stuff that's went on, but that right there is one of the worst things ever was. And I was in the hospital for 5 days and nights.
Goodness.
They thought I had a brain concussion.
Goodness. That was,
yeah.
You went through so much, and it didn't necessarily stop there.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was not there, but you and I visited before. Other than the physical abuse, he also got into, how do I put it, pilfering, maybe through your money, your own money from your royalties on your songs and your record sales. I know that you got shortchanged on that.
Oh, yeah. And he didn't put my name on songs. And then, I just hurt my feelings, a lot.
Of course.
Like Big City's one of them. Oh, my God. We were in a studio, and he'd come in there, and he said, what are you writing? He'd been gone for a while, and we were in the studio where he was recording, and he went with somebody to go do something or another. I don't know. And so I was back there in this little room, and I was writing on a song. I'd seen a guy eating out of a garbage can, and I had never seen that before, and I just hurt my heart, I felt so sorry for him. So I was writing a song about that. And anyways, he come in and he said, what are you writing? And I sang my song for him. And it turned into Big City.
Oh, my God.
That's some of the lines I had, in my song. And then, So anyway, he never put my name on it.
Oh, my God. Never, ever. Never steal a song from somebody. Rule number one, and he broke the rule.
Yeah. And, it's just part of it. But I remember another thing that happened. Dave, one time Merle was at my house in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Right.
And Dave and his wife lived not too far away, but Dave was on my sessions over there.
Sure.
On RCA, whatever. And Dave was on Merle's when he recorded in town and stuff. So anyway, Merle said, I've got an idea for a song. And he said, I'm going to call old Dave and have him come up here. And I said, good, yeah. So anyways, they sat in there in my living room and wrote Ramblin' Fever.
Oh, my.
Yes. And so anyways, I noticed through all the years that Dave's name wasn't on that song. And Dave was such a good-hearted guy, and he didn't want to say nothing. But he, after me and Dave was together, after Merle, me and Dave got together and stuff, and I said, Dave, I've always wanted to ask you this. I'm just going to ask you. I said, how come your name never got on that song? And you sat in my house and wrote it with him.
Right.
And you know what? Dave said, I asked Dave about it. I said, how come your name wasn't on there? And he said, well, I've just always wondered that myself.
That was a typical
And that's
answer.
all he said about it,
Yeah, Dave was such a kind-hearted man and a wonderful person, and super talented. We talked about that. But, songs are very personal to people, and to have them taken away is a pretty darn bad deal. I don't know how to describe it. It's like stealing real estate from people. It's just amazing. But Merle did you a lot of bad things, and I do know this about you and your personality after being friends with you, and I consider you one of my dearest friends, and you know how much I love you. I can't imagine anyone doing you harm. I can't get a picture of that doing Leona Williams harm because of your heart and your kindness. And Leona, all I can say, and I certainly don't say this in a braggadocious moment as a braggart, but Merle is pretty damn lucky I wasn't around. I was a pretty big old boy, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. We all thought the world of you, too. I'll tell you that.
Well, we loved you. Go ahead.
Whenever I grew up, there was 12 of us kids in Missouri.
Right.
And we wasn't all there at the same time. But my daddy played the fiddle real good. And my mom, she could play clawhammer style banjo, or she played piano at church. And so that's how I grew up playing, and I could play mandolin behind my daddy playing the fiddle when I was like 5 years old.
That's
and
cool.
Then I graduated to playing rhythm guitar behind him, so that's what I grew up with, and I love good old fiddle music,
Oh, me too.
And I have a couple of brothers that play and stuff, but there is a lot of good, going back to Merle.
Sure.
Merle was just as good as he was one way as he was bad the other, but he was a good soul. And then Bonnie, she was so sweet. She took care of everything, and she was helping with everything to get us together, and it was even my bridesmaid when we got married.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yep, she was my bridesmaid, and and helped get things set up, and because I was in Tennessee a lot, and anyways, Bonnie was just like, wow. But you know what? She told Peggy Russell that was writing Merle's book, Sing Me Back Home book. She said the funniest thing to Peggy. She told Peggy, she said, yeah, I was a bridesmaid. She said, yeah, I would have given him away if I needed to.
That's good. Leona, we've talked extensively about your tenure and tumultuous marriage to Merle. Let's talk about your career, because it has been star-studded, gold stars kind of for achievements that you've reached those heights. Let's talk about your career. I know you started playing instruments at a very young age. And let's kind of take it from there. I know that's going back in your memory bank, but did you always have a desire to be on stage and be let's use this word, star, a country
You know what?
star?
I never thought about being a star. I just thought about doing what I love to do.
Right.
And the best I knew how. And if I got there, fine. And, before I ever got with Merle, I used to be I had a career. I had that song Once More.
Yeah,
It really did for me.
it did.
And then I had Yes, Ma'am, He Found Me in a Honky Tonk.
Big one, big song.
And, it got a lot of airplay, but somehow it didn't, it's not like major hit like some of them did, but
Sure.
that's okay. I had a steady deal. Ever so often I had a single out that,
Right.
got airplay and did good. And I traveled and stuff. And
That was
But
on, that was on Hickory Records, wasn't it?
yes, Hickory Records, Don Gant.
Yep,
Over
yep.
there. Yeah,
Wow,
and
you did a lot. Continue.
and I worked hard.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue, please.
But you know what? I got to tell you, the first thing that I really wanted to do was whenever I first got my first record recorded, and they were fixing to put it out. I had an offer to go to overseas with Lonzo and Oscar from the Grand Ole Opry.
Yes.
And the new Lonzo was Dave Hooten, who was worked with us some in St. Louis before I moved to Tennessee, And so anyway, he became the new Lonzo. So Oscar got to hear me, and oh my gosh, we went out to Nugget Studios there in Goodlettsville and did a record on me and stuff, And so that's when Hickory liked it and wanted to, have me on their label and everything
Yes.
with Anchor Rose. So anyways, they wanted me to go overseas with them, and I really wanted to go. So I got to go. And my kid's dad, Ron Sr., me and him went with Lonzo and Oscar, and we toured 9 weeks in the Far East entertaining the servicemen during the Vietnam War.
Wow, I did not know that, Leona.
Yes, I spent 9 weeks over there, and I'll tell you what, I seen a lot of stuff, and oh my gosh, I get cold chills every time I talk about it.
I'm sure you
And
do.
we were in Vietnam, we were in Korea, and all this going on, just everywhere you went. We were in Japan. While we were in Japan, I met Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs for the first time,
Really?
And it's just like I'm old, as Gene Shepard used to say. I've done lots of stuff.
I know one thing for sure: you carry it well, and also I can relate somewhat, coming off a ranch in Southeast Texas, and ending up overseas. When you were on that tour and you were in Vietnam and those places, did it not seem a long way from Vienna, Missouri?
You know what? I never really thought about it because I just knew that. It's not anything I took for granted because my older brother was in Germany, and back about the time I was born, I guess. And, just been through all kinds of stuff and heard stories and everything.
Yeah.
And
so you were prepared.
I wanted to go over there. And, several times I've met people that saw me in Vietnam. And
are you kidding?
This one fella, that's the truth. And this one fella, he's passed away last year, but his son or his grandson played guitar with us. And anyways, when I met him, he started crying like a baby.
Oh,
he said, "I remember that so well."
That's because you touched him when you were there.
Yes, he remembered it so well. And anyways, that's. Lots of stories I've got. I'm old. I've done lots of stuff.
Well, you know what? We get to that point where we retain a lot of stories. And sometimes I wonder, Leona, if my mind is going to go into tilt, because there's too many stories. And, it's so funny. And you know that Liz, my wife, loves you. But I'd be, a friend will come over, and I'll start telling them a story. And being polite as she is, she would say, "Excuse me, please, but I've heard this story about 10 times." So she doesn't quite exit. We have. She loves Leona Williams, and I do too. And the people love you because I've seen you on stage. And you know what makes the people fans is they can feel that you love them. And if the fans feel loved, they're going to throw it right back at you. You've known artists that are similar to you in that way.
Yes.
One of my dear friends that I produced so many hits on was that way, and he was a dear friend of yours, Mickey Gilley. Gilley loved people.
Yes, I
And
love Mickey Gilley.
he loved
Yes.
people, and they loved him back, you know.
Yes.
And so many times Mickey and I talked because, you know, Mickey was my oldest friend. He was best man in my first wedding many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And, by the way, many, many wives ago, a flock of
Yeah.
them. But I've got a wife now I'm going to hold on to.
You bet.
Well,
But they
nobody.
say you got to keep on till you get it right.
Yeah,
you know,
and I
like
don't.
that song.
And I don't know if everybody would be receptible to a one-armed woman, but she would have to pull one arm to get away from me.
Yeah.
Leona, you and
Well,
I
I'll tell you,
go ahead, dear. I'm sorry.
my Dave Kirby, he passed away in '04, you know. So
Right.
I've been an old widow for a long time, and I'm going to stay that way, I guess. You know.
I
So
don't
I'm
blame
just
you.
kind of, got my kids and
Yeah,
my family and
I was going to say
few road
that.
shows.
You've got
You
so
know.
much love from your family, and rightfully so. You deserve it because, Leona, you're just plumb lovable. I don't know how else to describe you as a lovable, extremely talented lady. So
Well.
that kind of sums up Leona Williams to me. And I can,
I've been taught to treat people like I want to be treated, and I had the sweetest mother. Oh my gosh,
I'd love to have
she
met
was
her.
a little sweet little mom. I'll tell you.
You know,
And
I got to know Ron pretty darn good, your son Ron, when I had
yes.
the opportunity to do excuse me, but I still call them albums, okay? I do a CD on Ron. Such a good country singer, and I loved every minute of working with him, and he had your persona of just being a nice human being. And when you talk to Ron, you tell him Eddie Kilroy loves him. So
Okay, I'll tell him.
and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you talking to me on this podcast. The podcast, by the way, is doing good, picking up steam. It seems like there's so many out there, but Leona, I don't do the same thing that other people are doing, researching the artist. I don't have to look Leona Williams up on Wikipedia because I know her. And the same was with some other acts I did, like Marty and God knows Jerry Lee Lewis. Oh Lord, what a time that was. If I have any gray hair there, Lewis put most of them. So
I absolutely love my favorite George Jones. I love Jerry Lee Lewis. You know, I just can't. They're just every time they come on, I turn it up. And I remember when you were on XM radio. You know.
Yeah.
How I loved that way back then, and I listened to Dallas Wayne. I love him.
Yeah.
And I love, certain people, certain things.
And you've got that love for country, and we all do. And I think I was talking to someone the other day, and it's, I was talking to Harold Shedd. Harold being a great record producer.
Oh, yeah.
And a dear friend of mine, believe it or not, in 1959, Harold Shedd and I were in radio engineering college in Dallas, Texas. That's how long we've known each other. And
oh, my goodness.
Long time.
That's awesome.
Harold's doing well. He's 93 now and lives in his hometown there in Georgia. But we talk a lot, and I said all that to say, Harold and I were talking the other day, he has a feeling, and I don't know whether it's wishful thinking or what, but the country may be coming back. I just hope it comes back before I die. I want to hear one more good country record, and then I'll be ready to go home to the Lord. So,
well, I think it's coming back too. You know,
well,
I really have that feeling. You know,
it has to. People, you know, and I went out and I bought a brand new tractor, and Liz said, "We can't afford a new tractor. The tractor you have is good enough." I said, yeah, but it wasn't sexy enough. Now, I wanted to turn you on. Can you believe? I heard that song and I was saying, I think that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. She thinks my tractor's sexy. God.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, but listen, I know that I've talked your head off, girl, but I could talk to you for
Oh,
days
that's
and
fine.
days. We had a lot of catching up to do. Thank you so much, Leona Williams, one of the most
Well,
talented ladies I've ever known, and definitely the sweetest spirited lady I've ever known, and with a
oh,
beautiful family. And I love you, and thank you for being on this podcast.
thank you. And
And
I love,
everybody's going to enjoy listening to your stories.
well, I hope so. I try to be nice about everything and as I can. And I love you and Liz as well.
Well,
And
love you too, dear. And Happy New
thank you for
Year.
having me.
Happy New Year to you, and a prosperous one, and most of all, a healthy one.
Oh, yes. Same back to y'all. And I love you.
Love
And
you,
have a good one.
love you,
All
Lee.
right, babe.
Bye, baby.
Okay. Bye.
Total Feeds. I love Total Feeds. We've been on that feed since the inception, I think. Dr. Harry Anderson created an incredible line of feeds. I'm going to talk about Total Equine because that was the first feed that we were on at our barn at the ranch in Texas. Horses did absolutely wonderful. The dogs now, when we go to feed the horses, they gather around because they want to eat some of that feed too. So I asked Dr. Anderson, I said, Total Equine, is that bad for dogs? He said, no, it's not bad for them at all. He said, I've got a lot of customers that say that their dogs love Total Equine, but he also takes Total Canine, which is wonderful dog food. And he makes just all Total Bovine. Half these bulls that are bucking on the PBR and the PRCA are on that building muscle, dropping fat. So I want to thank Dr. Harry Anderson and Total Feeds for sponsoring our podcast. And I want to urge you to go to their website and look at all of their feeds and think about putting your animals on it. There'll be better animals for it. TotalFeeds.com. Kilroy saying, I got to get out of here. God bless each and every one of you. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Kilroy's Outlaws and Legends Behind the Music. If you have any thoughts or questions about the content, email them. Kilroy Outlaws and Legends, all one word, at yahoo.com. That's Kilroy, no S, Outlaws and Legends, all one word, at yahoo.com. And don't forget to subscribe. Third-party use of any part of this podcast without the expressed consent of Eddie Kilroy is prohibited. The Kilroy's Outlaws and Legends Behind the Music podcast is a production of Eddie Kilroy.